What if everything we've been told about death is only a sliver of the truth? What if the soul, your soul, embarks on a journey so vast, so alien, and so intricate that even the afterlife, as we imagine it, is just the first door? Across millennia, whispers have echoed through sacred scrolls, hidden manuscripts, and forbidden teachings, speaking of a secret path the soul must travel once it leaves the body, not to heaven, not to hell, but into realms beyond comprehension, realms where time dissolves, identity shatters, and the very concept of you is stripped down to its cosmic core. This is not mythology. These are not fairy tales. These are accounts drawn from ancient Egyptian funerary texts, Tibetan death rituals, Gnostic scriptures, and Sumerian incantations, each describing in eerily similar detail what happens after the final breath. They speak of watchers at the gates of shadow, of a mirror that shows the true self, of trials that break the soul or liberate it, and of a forgotten choice, one we all made long before birth and must confront again in death. In this video, we're not just going to talk about what happens after we die. We're going to peel back the veil. We'll explore the hidden maps passed down in secret, the philosophical frameworks buried under dogma, and the mysterious rituals meant to guide the soul across dimensions. You may think you understand death, but by the end of this journey, you might question everything you've ever believed about life. Are you ready to remember what your soul has always known? The forbidden cartography of the soul. Long before organized religion stamped its seal on life after death, ancient civilizations mapped the journey of the soul with unsettling precision. These weren't symbolic gestures. They were roadmaps, cosmic cartographies, etched in stone, painted on tomb walls, or whispered in initiatory rites. The Egyptians, meticulous in their obsession with the afterlife, documented the soul's voyage in the Book of the Dead, a misnomer really. Its original title was The Book of Coming Forth by Day, a reference to the soul re-emerging into a higher reality. To the Egyptians, death wasn't an end, it was a transformation. The soul, or Ba, had to pass through a gauntlet of gates, each guarded by a deity demanding a specific truth. If the heart weighed heavier than the feather of Ma'at, truth, it was devoured by Amit, and the soul was lost to oblivion. Half a world away, the Tibetan Bardo Thodol, often translated as the Tibetan Book of the Dead, detailed the Bardo states. Intermediate phases the soul traverses after death. These phases are chaotic, terrifying, illuminating. They're not places, but states of consciousness. Here, the soul meets projections of its own mind, some divine, others monstrous. The message is simple, yet profound. Liberation comes from recognition. If the soul realizes it's dreaming, it awakens. If not, it is pulled back into the cycle of rebirth. And then there are the Gnostics, those early mystics labeled heretics by the church. In their secret texts, like the Pistis Sophia and the Hypostasis of the Archons, the soul's journey is an escape from a false reality. Earth, they claimed, is a prison forged by lesser gods, Archons, who intercept the soul upon death, attempting to recycle it back into the illusion. Only those who carry secret knowledge, Gnosis, can answer the guardians at each heavenly gate and ascend to the Pleroma, the true realm of light. Why have these teachings been suppressed, distorted, or lost? Because they threaten power. They undermine dogma. A soul that knows the path cannot be controlled. Throughout history, Ruling systems have feared what these texts reveal, that within each of us is a fragment of something infinite and ungovernable. These ancient philosophies didn't promise salvation through belief. They offered liberation through understanding. They taught that death is not a punishment or reward system. It's a process, a riddle, a confrontation with truth so raw, so total, that few are prepared for it. But those who are become something else entirely. The soul's passage through the veil. Imagine this. You die. No angels, no flames, just silence. And then, a vibration, a hum not of sound, but of memory. You are moving, though there is no body, drifting through a corridor made not of walls, but of awareness. Shapes, voices, fragments of your life swirl around you like dust caught in light. You are weightless, but not free. Not yet. Ancient texts say, this is the threshold, the liminal state, the in-between. The Egyptians called it the Duat. The Tibetans called it Tibetan Bardo, the moment of the clear light. Gnostics referred to it as the first sphere. But all agree, it is the first gate in the soul's journey and the beginning of forgetting or remembering. In this phase, the soul is confronted not by judgment, but by reflection. You are shown everything, not as a movie reel, but as an immersion. You feel what you made others feel. You see yourself from every angle, stripped of narrative or defense. It's not God who judges, you do. That's the first test. Next comes disintegration, the peeling away of the false self. Most traditions teach that the personality we wear in life is a kind of mask, a temporary construct for navigating this realm. After death, this mask begins to crack. Everything you believed defined you, your name, your desires, your wounds, even your memories, starts to dissolve. This is where fear often arises, not of pain, but of erasure. The ancient Hermetic texts speak of the soul being purified by flame, which isn't literal fire, but a metaphor for the burning away of illusion. Each layer removed is a confrontation. Are you your achievements, your traumas, your beliefs? One by one, those layers fall until only something wordless remains. The soul then faces what the Egyptians called the Hall of Two Truths, not a place, but a moment of decision. You must answer, did you live in alignment with your essence? If yes, you move forward. If not, you may loop, recycled into another body, another life, another chance to remember what you forgot. In the Gnostic worldview, this looping is the trap, the wheel of reincarnation. The Archons, they say, feed on unresolved souls. They keep the cycle spinning by clouding our awareness, feeding us fear, desire, guilt. The key to breaking free isn't moral purity, it's awareness, lucidity, the ability to recognize illusion when you see it. So what is this essence the soul must align with? The texts are cryptic. Some call it the divine spark, others the true self, but all hint at something buried deep, a part of you that never forgets where it came from. It's the part that feels ancient déjà vu, that recoils at falsehood, that longs for something beyond what the world offers. And it's this part, the whisper beneath the noise, that becomes your compass through the next stage of the journey. The realms beyond and the guardians of truth. If the soul passes the threshold, if it sheds the illusions and reclaims its awareness, it doesn't ascend immediately. It enters a labyrinth, a multi-layered reality beyond time, mapped in cryptic symbols and guarded by forces few ever speak of. In the Pistis Sophia, the soul ascends through concentric realms known as aeons. Each aeon is ruled by an Archon, a gatekeeper, not evil in the cartoonish sense, but cosmic regulators, embodiments of law, density, inertia. They test the soul not with riddles, but with resonance. Each gate requires recognition, a vibration, a memory, or a word of power. In some texts, this is literal, passwords passed down through mystery schools, meant to unlock the layers of the afterlife. In others, it's symbolic. The soul must match the frequency of the realm it wishes to enter. It must remember itself fully. No masks, no lies, no fear. These realms are not heavenly clouds or hellish torture chambers. They are psychic terrains, consciousness zones. The Sumerians believed the soul descended through 7 gates into the underworld, shedding one piece of identity at each, not as punishment, but preparation, until it stood naked before Ereshkigal, queen of the dead. She didn't judge, she mirrored, and that is a recurring theme. The afterlife isn't a court, it's a mirror house. The soul is shown what it is, not what it pretended to be. In the Tibetan teachings, this is the Chonyi Bardo, the visionary state. Here, peaceful and wrathful deities appear, but they are not entities. They are projections of the mind. If the soul recognizes them as such, it merges with the clear light and escapes rebirth. If not, it reacts with fear, desire, or confusion, and sinks back into illusion. Even Plato hinted at this in the myth of describing souls choosing their next life based on the echoes of their past decisions and the illusions they haven't yet seen through. Free will, yes, but shaped by blindness or insight. And what of the so-called light at the end of the tunnel? Many ancient mystics warned, not every light is the true light. Some lights are traps, false dawns engineered by the lower realms to recycle the soul. Only by inner knowing can one tell the difference. The true light doesn't lure, it calls. It doesn't promise, it simply is. This brings us to the paradox. The journey of the soul is deeply personal, yet universally structured. Each path is unique, yet follows ancient patterns. It's as if the cosmos itself is a vast memory palace, and the soul, if prepared, becomes its own guide. But what happens when the soul remembers? When it passes the tests, sees through the illusions, and refuses to return? That is the forbidden truth many texts only hint at. Some say the soul becomes a walker between worlds, a liberated being no longer bound by the wheel. Others claim it rejoins the source, not as a drop in an ocean, but as the ocean remembering it was never a drop. And some say it chooses to return, not out of karmic debt, but out of love, to help others wake up, not as saints, not as gods, but as quiet lights in the dark. Invoking the forgotten path. While the secret journey of the soul remains enigmatic, ancient wisdom offers practical methods to tap into its hidden corridors. These techniques are not mere rituals, but gateways to experiencing the subtle vibrations of existence and the true self. Begin by establishing a sacred space. In a quiet room, dim the lights and light a candle or incense. This setting signals to your inner self that you are entering a state of heightened awareness. Allow your surroundings to fade into the background as you focus inward. The goal is to quiet the incessant chatter of everyday life and listen to the silent murmurings of your soul. Practice meditation daily. Sit comfortably, close your eyes, and breathe deeply. Visualize a soft, radiant light at your heart that slowly expands to fill your entire being. As you immerse yourself in this glow, invite memories of ancient wisdom, the echoes of forgotten texts, and the voices of mystics. Let these impressions come naturally, without force or judgment. This meditative state creates a bridge between your conscious mind and the deeper layers of your being, where the journey begins. Another method is dream journaling. Before sleep, set an intention to recall your dreams. Keep a journal nearby to capture every detail upon waking. Ancient cultures believed that dreams are portals to the soul's wanderings. Over time, patterns may emerge, a recurring symbol, a familiar face, or even a hidden word. Reflect on these images and consider their possible messages. They may be the clues left behind by your soul, guiding you toward deeper understanding. Engage in contemplative reading. Delve into ancient texts, not for literal truth, but for the experiential resonance they evoke. Let the poetic language of the Book of the Dead, the Tibetan Bardo, or even select Gnostic writings stir your imagination. Allow these stories to ignite a spark of recognition, urging you to question the nature of your identity and the boundaries of existence. Consider also a ritual of release. Write down fears, attachments, or past regrets on paper. When you feel ready, safely burn these writings in a controlled space. This act symbolizes the shedding of false layers and the reclaiming of your true essence. It is a small, tangible step toward freeing your soul from the cyclic patterns of illusion. Each of these practices is designed to nurture an inner clarity, a lucidity that prepares you for the metaphysical journey ahead. They are gentle exercises that help dissolve the veils of separation between life and the afterlife, between the known and the unknown. In embracing these techniques, you are not just preparing for a possible encounter with death. You are awakening to the reality that every moment is a fragment of that eternal journey. The memory you were never meant to lose. What lies beyond death is not an ending, but a remembering. Ancient texts, once buried or burned, speak not of fantasy, but of pathways, maps drawn in metaphor, preserved in secrecy, and whispered across generations by those who saw beyond the veil. They remind us that the soul is not fragile. It is ancient, enduring, and sovereign. You are not a passenger in this life. You are a traveler, a navigator of the great in-between. And death? Death is simply the crossing point, a doorway, a mirror, a test. The question is not what happens after we die. The real question is, are you prepared to see what you truly are when everything else is stripped away? This isn't about fear, it's about awakening. Because the journey doesn't start when the body fails. It starts now, with every choice, every thought, every moment of stillness, where the soul has a chance to whisper, "Remember." So I'll leave you with this. When your time comes, and it will you be the one who trembles at the light, or the one who recognizes it? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. If this resonated with something deep inside you, something ancient, consider subscribing. We're only just beginning to uncover what was never truly hidden. Welcome to the path.